Hi everybody, it's Donna the Healing Hiker, and I thought I would come on live today and maybe just do a little bit of talking about generosity of spirit, compassion, and even maybe a call to action for us that we might need right now, and a call to really bring in some love and peace into our hearts. And one of the things I've been reading, which I talked about before, is the Book of Joy. And this is just so perfect for today. I couldn't even believe it. So Archbishop Desmond Tutu writes, becoming an oasis, this beautiful phrase, becoming an oasis of peace, a pool of serenity that ripples out to all of those around us. And then he says, if we become less self-centered and self-regarding, we are less burdened by our self-agenda. I love that one. We do not have anything to prove. We do not need to be seen in a particular way. We have less pretension and more openness and more honesty. I love that. In generosity, there is a wider perspective in which we see our connection to all others. There is a humility that recognizes our place in the world and acknowledges that at another time we could be one in need, whether that need is material, emotional, or spiritual. There's a sense of humor and an ability to laugh at ourselves so that we do not take ourselves too seriously. How perfect is that? Because boy, I can tell you that, all the stuff we've been reading, everybody's really uptight, and I agree with you, Mark. We need to replace the fear with love and kindness, and with action, the actions of kindness. That's, I think, the thing too is, today on the road, like, I let people in front of me and I smiled at everybody, and I wore really bright clothes today, on purpose, so to transmit joy and to transmit that, it'll be okay. It's going to take some work, and that's okay. I think that we all have the ability to start where we are. And if you really want to, yeah, you do have a lot of humor, Mark. And we need it, we need to laugh at ourselves, because sometimes we're pretty ridiculous. I do a lot of really entertaining things, which is super funny, and so I make myself laugh a lot. And the universe has a way of having things kind of happen so that I get right-sized really quick when I'm hiking or whatever. So it's pretty funny. If I can make it through a hike and not trip and fall on my face, I'm like, whoo, 2 thumbs up. I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks, Michelle. Good to see you on here. And hi, Bernie. Good to see you here too. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is that a lot of times when things like this happen in the world, we feel super overwhelmed and we don't know where to start and we don't know what to do. And so then either we withdraw and shut down, or we get angry because we're in fear and act out, which doesn't solve anything and just makes everything worse, right? Or we just become literally so overwhelmed with emotion that we really can't function properly. And so what I wanted to talk about was just, letting go of that fear and that overwhelm, and really taking the next week or two to think about areas of your life in which you're passionate about, that maybe you might want to make a change to help other people. And so one of the things, that you might want to think about is civil rights. Is there an area of civil rights, particular area that really appeals to you? So find out, do your research. How can you make a difference in that area? Is it the environment and animals, protecting animals and the environment? There's a million ways to get involved with that. And so, I'd really suggest you start small and not try and do 10 things, but just a few things or one thing to start. And, build on that. Volunteer, help clean up a beach. Whatever it is for you. Bernie, that's on here, he is, thanks, Bernie, he's a surfer. So, so that the ocean is a really big, important area for him to see the oceans being clean. And so those are things that we can participate in if that's our passion. For me, the mountains and being able to hike all over the world and national parks all over the world is a passion of mine. And so, that might be something that I get into is, protecting those environments. particularly for me right now, is human rights and civil rights. That's going to be an area of focus for me moving forward. And Bernie's a realtor too, I might add, a really good one. Um, and so we do work together, and so it's really nice, and Michelle too. So, we all care about this world because we serve the world. We serve the people here on many different levels. And so, it's really important for me to, what I've seen is just so much panic and so much, negativity being thrown out both sides, and nothing is served with that, nothing. And people, we are not powerless, and I've been talking to friends of mine that are Republican and that are very very conservative, and I've been talking to them and trying to, because I really want to understand, and I'm pretty moderate anyway, but I really want to understand what the issues are for everybody, so that moving forward, if I get more involved in politics, I get more involved in the government, how can I help serve, everybody in a way that's effective, right? And that people feel heard, because what's happened is a large percentage of our communities, everywhere, we, feel very unheard. As a woman, and a Latina woman at that, there's times in my life, many times in my life, I felt very unheard. And when that happens for me, particularly, I either build a wall and shut down, or I go in a different direction, and I don't, I don't feel that I need to do that. But one thing I have done is I've stood up for myself, whether it's, in a company or, places like that, and I use my voice, I use my voice in the government. And so, one of the challenges and call to action that I would make for everybody all the way around is that, if you've complained and you haven't had any success, or you haven't even tried, you've just complained about the State of the Union and that you haven't felt heard, I'd challenge you, and I'd like to hear from people. How many times have you contacted your representatives in the last year? How many times have you called them and asked them how they were going to vote on something, an issue that was coming up for vote? How many times have you asked them, truly what they believe in their platform on something that means something to you, whether it's the environment or, anything that's coming up for vote? How many times? Because I can bet you it's probably less than one, and maybe two, and maybe zero. But saying I don't feel heard, but yet never contacting their representatives. And here where I live, our representatives have been Republican for a very long time, and I call them all the time and talk to them about what I want to see happen on votes that are important to me that are coming up. And and how many times have people even researched things that are coming up that are important? And there's a lot of groups that you can join that help you and give you information about things that are important to you too. So it helps, because we're really busy and it's hard to know everything that is happening. But you can get involved, and believe me, on even a grassroots level, your voice is powerful, very, very powerful. I've been a part of one.org for almost 12 years now, since its inception. And we have gotten so many things pushed through and passed through the Senate and through our government, and globally, by contacting, calling, phone calls, emails. We don't let up, and we make sure our representatives know how we feel, and we get everything through. It passes and it works. And I really never believed that. I really never believed that by making a phone call that they would listen to me, but they do. And they figure that for every person that calls, there's a big percentage that hasn't called. So they calculate that into their votes, and that people are actually paying attention. You can let them know that you're watching them. And so I think this is a really perfect time for all of us to do that we are watching, we are paying attention. The people that, did vote for Trump, I'd like to see you, and that are telling me that they are not bigots and they're not any of these things. I'd like to hear you get involved and protect the rights of people if it comes to that need your help. Because we all have to band together. We all have to work together on this stuff. We've fought too hard and come too far to not do that together. And again, it's just, I never have liked the idea of separateness, and and when we feel separate from, all kinds of things can come up, right? And that's where we see in countries throughout history when people are divided, and no matter which way, that is how countries die, and that is how countries fade away, is always through divisiveness, always. And so, I would really challenge you to really pray and think about how you can make a difference in bringing us back together and bringing our all of our people, so everybody feels loved and everybody feels heard. That there's a lot of people still out of work. And, I really believe that as a country, we can bring jobs back here. I really do believe that. I was in manufacturing for many years, and a lot of jobs and places that I worked got outsourced, to China and other places. And it was devastating. So, I get it. I've been there. I worked for a company that outsourced 275 jobs that I personally sold products for and supported. These people all work for a product that I sold, and that whole plant was outsourced, and it was devastating. So I've been there. I know what that feels like, and I don't like it. And I really believe that we can work together to bring jobs back here, and we can insist on it. We need to make these areas, easier. Santa Clarita, where I live, our government is working really hard to bring business here and bring filming here and giving a lot of tax incentives and making it easier for companies to do business here. It's a tough time, but I think that we can really do things together. So if business is your thing, those of us that are in real estate, if business leaves California, there's nobody to buy houses. So that's an area that we need to really care about. We need to know, and we need to be involved in how our government is promoting businesses to stay here and making it easier for them to stay here. So those are, that's another idea of ways in which we can get involved and really make a difference for people that are out of work. How can we really, make a difference here? And so I think that that's, again, another way. And I think, Mark, you have a great idea about that. Is that when we have conversations that are civil and kind, and we're not trying to change anybody's opinion. That I had this beautiful conversation this morning with one of my girls that's 20 years old. She's not 20. She's in her 20s, and she pointed out to me that we're never going to change people's minds. We're never going to, force our opinion on somebody else, and nor should we, and that's okay. Because we're all part of the same energy. We're all part of the same collective. We're all part of the same country. We're all human, and we all are interconnected. And so how about instead we listen? We listen to what's happening. We listen and we see how we might be able to help. And that is how we will cross that bridge, because everybody that feels listened to and feels like they're human will respond to that. We can't help it, right? And so instead of saying, you need to believe this, no, you don't. But how can I help you? How can I make a difference in your life? What will make your life easier that I have control over, or I can go create, something to help you, or I can raise my voice on your behalf to help you. How can we do that on a national level? Well, we can start right here where we live and start small. On Saturday, me and my friend Kelly we're going to, okay, bye Mark. We are actually going, and we're mentoring young teenage girls to help them find their voice and help them learn how to write and express themselves, and help them become leaders in their communities, because that's where this starts too. We've got to be working with the kids to help them understand they have a voice and they have power, and that they can make a difference. That's a big thing for me, is that when we reach the children and we help them understand that they have a voice. We see people in their 20s right now that are just getting into politics, or getting into realizing that they can make a difference. One of my friends, Jessica, she got really involved with Bernie Sanders, and I was so thrilled to watch her do that, because it was just so inspiring to me. And so all of us, I don't care what our age, we can get involved, and we can use our voice, and we can make a difference. And again, you just start right where you are, and pray about it, and ask for signs, ask for, the path. Where is it that I'm needed most? Where's my passion? What am I good at, right? If we're good at something, that's what we can help, and we can, take that and help. Or we can just start trying different things. There's a million different ways to volunteer. I post a lot of things about volunteering because it's a big passion of mine. I think that we all have our gifts, and we all can really give those away freely, and again, have that generosity of spirit, so that people feel heard, people feel loved, and people know that we care about them, and that other people care about us. We matter too, and that's important too, that we all tell each other that we care about each other, and that we're supporting each other. That really matters. I really believe that as a community, that we can raise our vibration, and that the more that we do that through either meditation, we can do more yoga, and really focus on, like, I do really specific meditations. This whole week I've been doing really specific meditations for Donald Trump and for his followers, for everybody in the country. Very specific love meditations, unconditionally pouring love into people, without any question, without any expectation, without anything. Just pouring love into these people, specific people. I look at them, I look at their picture, I'm driving, I think about them, and I just pour love into them. And what that does is that softens my own heart, right? Because then that takes away, and that anger or frustration slips away, and then I connect with their humanity. Because underneath all of it, they're still human, and they still matter, to me, and hopefully to you. And that is how we bridge the gap. That is how we come together, I really, truly believe that. I talk about meditation a lot because, there's a lot of studies that have been done where, and it talks about this in the Book of Joy, but I've read it other places, where when you have a meditation circle or meditation center, that the crime around that area actually decreases, which is incredible. Like, violent crime severely decreases, like big time numbers in those areas. And so you think about it, and you think if all of us take time, 5 minutes a day to meditate, even in our own homes or in our car while we're driving. I commute, so I do it all the time in my car, and send out love ripples. Think about what that does, and elevates the energy in this country right now. I challenge you to do that, because again, it will soften your own heart, but also it can really make a difference as we move through the world. So that is what I have to share tonight. There's hope. We are love. We are compassion. We are all the things that this country needs. And so there's no reason to get sad. There's no reason to give up. There's no reason to hide. We have a voice, a very powerful voice, and we need to use it. And we need to use it in a positive way that really can create change and create more cohesiveness in this country. So thank you very much for joining. I really just, want to send you guys all love, and know that I have been praying, very much all the time through this last week, especially for this country, and I'll continue to do so. I'm going to share my journey with you as I move forward. I'm feeling very called to start doing some new things, and so I think that this has been again, an opportunity. The Dalai Lama talks about that when he was he had to escape Tibet from the Chinese. He always talks about the fact that was an opportunity for him, and that had he not, been, made to leave and escape and live outside of his country, he would not be the world leader he is today. He would not have met all the people that he's met and influenced if that hadn't happened. So he views it as an opportunity. And I know from my own life, everything that I've been through that it seems like it's adversary or it's bad or it's whatever, every single time I've been able to turn that around for good in some way or another. God shows me always, the universe shows me a way to use that for the benefit of others, or even just to help somebody else through whatever it is I've gone through. So I really believe that this is an opportunity. It's a challenge, and I believe that we will rise to it. I believe you will rise to it. And you know, please share this video with others so that we can spread the hope, and we can spread the message of generosity, of spirit. We can spread the message of compassion, and we can spread the message that we are all one, and we all matter. Our voices all can be heard together. We can all work together. You know, I truly believe that with all of my heart, because I've seen it. You know, I've seen it happen over the years with all of the work that I've done with the one organization. I've seen bipartisan cooperation like I've, never would have imagined. And so I know that it can happen right here, right now, and it starts here, in our own hearts and in our own communities. So I'd love to hear from you and hear how you want to change the world and how you want to change your community. And even maybe your own heart by just starting with some simple meditations of love and sending those out to the world today. Thank you for joining me. I really just adore you all for coming on. And hi, Tom, and Elisa, and Cindy, and Kara. Good to see you all. And again, just like and share this as much as you can. I'll be posting a lot more things as we move forward. To help us all move through this transition, again, and hopefully make it as smooth as possible for everybody. All right, take care. I'll see you later from Donna the Healing Hiker. Hasta la vista. Mwah.